Thank you for joining me for the recorded review of HomeSmart Real Estate Momentum's exclusive buyer representation agreement. Before we delve into this, there's a couple of items. This is our confidential company training. This video cannot be shared with anyone other than a HomeSmart agent. Just to be sure that you always have the latest, greatest version of all of our documents, because as we all know, they will continue to change. Look in the lower left corner for the most recent date. What I suggest is that you review this document and read it several times. And if there's paragraphs that you get hung up on, keep reviewing it, even saying it out loud so it starts to flow when you do present this to your buyer. As we all have determined in that date that's coming up soon, you are required to have this explained in detail, and the buyer has to understand it and they sign it before you can open a door along with the consumer guide. So we're going to get started. Paragraph 1, exclusive representation. So Real Estate Momentum LLC, doing business as DBA HomeSmart Real Estate Momentum, and the agents listed below, collectively Real Estate Momentum or brokerage. So anytime you see those two phrases in parentheses, that's what they're referring to. They hereby agree to assist the undersigned buyer, which is the buyer or you, because you're presenting this to your buyer, in purchasing real property, including without limitation the purchase, option, exchange, or lease of real property, or an agreement to do so. You hereby grant Real Estate Momentum the exclusive right and authority to act on your behalf during the term of this agreement, which shall begin on, this is the start date, and shall continue until midnight on the completion date. I really highly do not suggest you do this for an individual property. That's not the purpose of this agreement. And don't cut yourself short in that once you take the time to give your presentation, explain this, and go through the contracts with them and show them how the MLS works, etc., and showings. You're going to earn their trust. So you're going to want to give this for a nice amount of time. The parties agree that this agreement may be terminated in writing by either party with 48 hours advance notice. However, you agree that this agreement may not be terminated if you are negotiating for or under contract for the purchase, option, exchange, or lease of property. And this does go by calendar days, not business days. And it has to be in writing. So if you terminate this, you both have to agree to terminate. You can write it up at the top and you each initial and date or sign and date. Next paragraph. You warrant and represent that you are not presently represented by any other real estate brokerage and not bound by an exclusive buyer representation agreement with another real estate brokerage. This is key because you don't want somebody signing more than one. And if they say they are, then you don't sign this and bring them to see a property until you can see that it's been released. In consideration for Real Estate Momentum's efforts on the prospect of being compensated for its time and efforts, you agree to work solely and exclusively with and through Real Estate Momentum to identify, locate, and tour properties with Real Estate Momentum, including via open houses, and to submit offers to purchase or lease through Real Estate Momentum during the term of this agreement. We all know that in an open house, a buyer does not have to sign an exclusive buyer's representation to see the house. If you do have a meeting with them and they decide to work with you, then you can work with this document. This agreement does not obligate you to make an offer to purchase or lease any real property and is outlined below. Real Estate Momentum is not compensated unless you purchase or lease real property. Section 2. Assistance to you as a buyer. And this next section kind of helps you build the outline for your buyer consultation. This, along with the brochures that HomeSmart has available to be printed, to be able to explain why this is different now versus how real estate was done previously. So we're going to talk about this section next. Real Estate Momentum shall assist you with the lease or purchase of real property, including such of the following as you direct. Doesn't have to do all of these, but they direct this. Identify and arrange showings for you based upon your criteria and directives. Refer you to a lender, hopefully more than one, to obtain a mortgage pre-approval if you need mortgage financing. Explain the purchase process to you, including providing you with a sample of offer to purchase before you write an offer. So we suggest that you have several of these printed out, the latest versions, and keep them with you at your desk or in your car, so you can present this to them and they can answer questions. And this also expedites the time period when you're trying to write an offer with them. Provide you with an owner's Ohio residential property disclosure form and or such other disclosures as may be available from the owner or listing brokerage, i.e. sex offender notifications received by an owner. This could also include an exemption disclosure form. Seek additional information from the owner or listing upon your written request. Review, prepare, and negotiate offers and counteroffers to purchase or lease on terms acceptable to you. Again, use the buyer. Provide you with a list of licensed independent home inspectors and such other inspectors and contractors so that you may choose professionals to assist you in conducting your due diligence. Again, explain to your buyers, you have to hire them, you will schedule it, I will get it approved for you, and then their payment goes directly to them, not through the agent. Coordinate access to property for your inspections, any appraisal and walkthrough as agreed in your purchase agreement. Provide you with utility and other service providers. We have a form in .loop that talks about this home, and you can easily put in there who the providers are, and it will save you some time and energy. And we hope that the other people do this as well. Coordinate dates for execution of closing documents and deliver your keys upon agreed possession. Everybody, initials and dates at the bottom. Next page. Caveat emptor and buying as is. You specifically acknowledge and agree that you are purchasing property in its as-is present physical condition, which includes latent or hidden defects or conditions. Accordingly, you agree to inspect and make diligent inquiry, including through independent professional inspections that you elect, about the condition and systems of a property. You agree to use due diligence in evaluating all aspects of any property in which you have interest, and you agree to be solely responsible for investigating any property in respect to its value, condition, and your intended use. You agree that broker is not an inspector or contractor and cannot and does not guarantee or warrant the condition, use, or value of a property. You understand and agree that you are solely responsible for evaluating whether real property is suited for your intended use, and occupancy and investigating a property's structural integrity, environmental conditions, square footage, zoning, lot dimensions, permitting, buildability, homeowners' fees, public or private assessments, utility bills, taxes, or special assessments. You agree to review and evaluate any public records and other information that may affect your decision whether or not to purchase the property. So you can help them by providing them with phone numbers, etc., but the onus is on them to prove that this is correct for them to buy. Section 4, inspectors and service providers. You acknowledge that Real Estate Momentum is licensed to provide real estate services only, and you shall retain other professionals for inspection, accounting, tax, appraisal, engineering, surveying, title, legal, and other services. While Real Estate Momentum may suggest service providers, including licensed inspectors, you understand and agree that the choice of any inspector or service provider is solely and exclusively your choice. 5, seller disclosures. You agree to review a seller's Ohio residential property disclosure form, if applicable, carefully and thoroughly. You further agree that Real Estate Momentum cannot guarantee that disclosures made by an owner or your owner's agent are accurate or complete. You acknowledge and agree that Real Estate Momentum has no obligation to verify or investigate information provided by any seller, including the Ohio Residential Property Disclosure Form, or by the listing brokerage or agent, including the multiple listing service and other advertising. I kind of explain this to them that that inspection is good for that moment in time and things can change, kind of like an appraisal. So it's up to them to review these and understand that they don't replace any of the investigative tools that you can suggest. Section 6, home warranty. You may be offered and are encouraged to consider obtaining a limited home warranty plan in connection with your property's purchase. You understand that the warranty plan does not cover pre-existing defects in a property and that Real Estate Momentum receives a fee for taking and processing this warranty application. If you're representing the buyer, you need to make sure that they can be provided with a copy of the home warranty and review it with them and show them where the phone number is and that they will have a deductible that will be due to place a claim. Number 7, Real Estate Momentum's compensation. You understand that real estate broker compensations are not set by law and may be negotiated by owners, buyers, and tenants. Real Estate Momentum is not compensated unless and until your home purchase is complete. In consideration for its time, service, and advocacy, you agree to pay HomeSmart Real Estate Momentum compensation of $5.95 and either a dollar value, maybe it's a little bit lesser, maybe it's a rental and you're going to have a set fee, and or a percentage. Whichever blank you don't fill out, put a line through. Whichever is greater. By irrevocable assignment through escrow at title transfer, if you or any person or entity acting on your behalf purchases, leases, or exchanges real property during the term of this agreement or any extension of. So that's another good point to bring up. If your agreement with them is expiring, you need to extend it in writing, get it initialed and dated. So this agreement is for buyers as well as leases. Real Estate Momentum will attempt to secure payment from the owner of the listing brokerage if the owner is represented and the listing brokerage is offering a fee for procuring a buyer. Real Estate Momentum will credit me with any compensation paid by the owner or listing brokerage and apply it to the compensation owed by you to Real Estate Momentum. Real Estate Momentum will show you available properties meeting your criteria without regard to whether or not the listing brokerage is offering a fee or amount of any such fee. You can't tell them you're not going to show a property because they're not offering you enough or any compensation. That's why you have this agreement that should they not offer enough or any, your buyer takes responsibility for paying your compensation. You shall also pay Real Estate Momentum the compensation specified above if you contract to acquire a property within 180 days from the date of the party's written termination of this agreement, and you and Real Estate Momentum have physically toured the property or you made an offer on it through Real Estate Momentum. If an owner breaches the purchase contract through no fault of yours, you shall not be obligated to compensate Real Estate Momentum. Confidentiality. By law, an agent must keep confidential information that you as a buyer client designate as such, unless disclosed is required by law. You shall notify Real Estate Momentum in writing any information that you wish to be kept confidential. Agency. You hereby acknowledge receipt of Real Estate Momentum's Consumer Guide to Agency Relationships, which has been provided to you as required by Ohio law. You agree to direct any questions about Real Estate Momentum's agency relationship to the agents listed below or to management level licensees of Real Estate Momentum. You understand that you will be presented with a State of Ohio agency disclosure form and when and if you make an offer to purchase, and that the State of Ohio agency disclosure form will state the representation status of real estate brokerages and agents involved in the specific transaction contemplated. Fair housing, again, super important to read through this in great details to talk about all the protected classes. Section 11 is cybersecurity. We do not ever take any earnest money. We do not take a buyer's wiring instructions, bank account numbers, routing numbers ever from them, and they never reveal this to anybody via a text or email. If somebody calls them, they need to hang up, call the title company back and speak directly with the representative that you as the buyer's agent has given them the contact info. If they think they're being scammed, they need to call and confirm before they release any information. Other potential buyers. You acknowledge that other potential buyers working with Real Estate Momentum may consider making offers on purchase, lease, or exchange the same or similar properties as you. Ohio law permits showing the same properties to purchasers as well as preparing or presenting contemporaneous offers to purchase or lease the same property. We do have an addendum in Dotloop that is a contemporaneous offer addendum. Get that filled out by both parties. Before preparing a contemporaneous offer, Real Estate Momentum shall disclose that fact to all clients for whom it is preparing, presented or has prepared or presented contemporaneous offers to purchase or lease the same property, and shall refer to another licensee any client who requests such a referral. This agreement contains all terms between Real Estate Momentum and you, and there are no other conditions, representations, warranties, or agreements express or implied. Facsimile and electronic signatures shall be deemed binding and valid, and you hereby acknowledge receipt of a copy of this agreement. Super important when they sign this in the consumer guide to get them a copy, whether it's right away through Dotloop or you make a copy and hand it to them right then and there. Make sure this section is filled out in its entirety, including address, telephone, and email addresses. And then you have your signature on there as well, and this will make it a valid contract. So I hope this has been helpful. Please feel free to listen to this several times and read this out loud, and pretty soon the language is going to flow and it will be part of your new routine that's going to actually in the end make your job more fluid, efficient, and enjoyable for you and the buyer. Make sure you have all your information ready for them and keep these on hand. So I wish you luck and have a great day. Thank you.